The Twisted Metal TV show.
Welcome to Twisted Metal.
So heads up, this is going to be a very different kind of video compared to my last couple have been. Usually I like to research, I like to write out some sort of, script is kind of a nasty word, but like I like to really flesh out my thoughts. And this is going to be a lot of off the top of my head. It's pretty late at night here. I just finished fucking 5 hours of that Twisted Metal TV show that everyone in my comments kept saying, no, you're actually wrong. It's really good. First of all, I didn't say it was bad. I just said the trailers were awful and I don't want a silly Twisted Metal. And second of all, having watched it now, I was fucking right. In my opinion, because we all have different opinions, I hated it, you know? And if you want to like it, that's fine. But I didn't. And that's fine too. I already hear the arguments.
First of all, leave your comments. You know what? I'm sick and tired of. I'm actually commenting on the comments that haven't come yet. I'm having a discussion with comments in the future. That's how sick things have gotten. But
so what I did was like I said, I just finished watching all 10 episodes. It's fresh in my head, and I wrote bullet points throughout, just stuff that caught my mind. And so it's going to be more of a stream of thought. It's going to be a little jarring as I just hit points and kind of talk at random. It's not going to have I'm not going to be a Roger Ebert sort of thing, you know? So bear with me. I hope you enjoy. Maybe you'll see things my way. Maybe I'll see things your way, because it wasn't all bad. I'll be fair. I'm not going to be a just contrarian for the sake of it. I'll be fair. With that said, let's dive into episode 1, why don't we? Hey! Did I mention there's going to be spoilers here? Because guess what? There's going to be spoilers here. Maybe I'll throw a timestamp here for a bit at the end where I'll summarize it without spoilers. Okay? But starting right now, spoilers. So we start episode 1 with a pretty fun car chase. I like the fact they're hitting us with car action right off the hop. There's guns, which I like. Like they're not just using handheld weapons. They're actually vehicle-mounted weapons, and I like the fact it wasn't all just guns. They had rocket launchers too, which I'm like, all right, good. They're really trying here. So fair point. Immediately though, I'm disgusted when he hits some sort of booth, and a bunch of Twisted Metal 1 long boxes fly across this thing. It wasn't like 2002 that this came out. There was malls in California in 2002 that had Twisted Metal 1 long boxes. What was that, 7-8 years after its release? Shut up. That was clumsy at best. I will say though, as fun as the car action was, his lack of fear was really, you know, and I'm not saying he's supposed to be like scared, because he does this for a living, right? So I get why he would be accustomed to it, but you still got to be like, whoa, hey, bullets, whoa. And at first I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's a bulletproof car. Maybe that's why he's acting that way. But then no, his window gets shot out. So you're like, well, wait a sec. All those bullets were real, and he's just like, oh, hey, oh, like as if it's a water gun fight. Come on. So after this opening scene, I was actually pretty open to it. Like, all right, it's going to be some stuff I don't like, but this is going to be totally doable, right? And then he pulls up to the outpost, and we get what feels like forever. What was it? Like 4 minutes probably, but it felt like 10 of just quips and jokes and just, shut up.
You talk too much.
Never shut up.
I said you talk too much.
Oh boy, you never shut up.
It's terrible. My reaction was the guy in the scene, the big Bubba guy. Terrible. I wrote a note here, and I was wrong. I'll admit I was wrong. I'll tell you I was wrong right now. But in case other people got it wrong like I did, I didn't understand why all the music was like top 40 from like 20 years ago. I'm like, ugh, why this music? Well, this is so... Because that's when the world ended. So that's the music they have. Pretty good reference once I understood it. But I didn't get it at first, and I was like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Who chose the music for this? A lot of people said that they brought in characters from the games, and you definitely see a lot of names. When you're on IMDb, you see Mr. Slam, Raven. You see you're like, all right, cool. And then we meet Raven, and she's not a goth goddess. So instantly, I should have just deleted all 10 episodes right there. What was that about? What was that about? You can't do that. So a scene opens up, and we're seeing a purple hearse, right? Cadillac. It's Shadow. That's what they're referencing, Shadow. And I loved it. And I was even fine with it not being the classic Cadillac hearse because those are rare. And I don't necessarily want it destroyed like what ended happening with this one. So great reference and great choice to kind of update the vehicle. Fair. This really bugged me. This bugged me in episode 1, and it bugged me for the rest of the show. And that is, does Agent Stone have a fucking mustache or not? In certain scenes, it looks like he's got some peach fuzz. In certain scenes, he doesn't. But he's always got a bleached lip, right? So clearly the peach fuzz is there. What the fuck? Grow it or don't grow it? This is absolutely out of uniform, my guy. Our character Jean Doe ends up needing a map, so he meets with a guy named Tommy. The 3-ish minutes we have with Tommy are fantastic. I would rather just watch a show about Tommy. So far, he's the only character that hasn't bugged me. Every character's been awful or annoying or just unlikable. And then also, finally, it was absolutely smart to end episode 1. Just like it was smart to open with car fighting, it was smart to end with the tease of Sweet Tooth. You needed that. You need that. So smart, whatever board of assholes who sat there and planned out this show, they did that right. So kudos to them. On to episode 2. So far, I'm sitting at like a 7 out of 10 because I know first episodes tend to be talk heavy. This one was talk heavy, but they gotta set the world. So I'm at 7 out of 10. I'm like, all right, I'm into this. How does that change, perhaps, in episode 2? Let's find out. It's stupid, but I love it. It's the right kind of stupid. It's schlock. Schlock is the word you use for it. Where the invincibility code from Twisted Metal 2 is what John Doe has to use to fire up his car again. It's pretty good. Speaking of Twisted Metal 2, I want Mike and Stu to be dead, just like I did in that game. Everyone, this is a good point to bring up when it comes to my previous Twisted Metal videos. Everyone's like, oh, 2 wasn't all that great. And yeah, obviously, there was parts of it I didn't like. Mike and Stu were 2 of those fucking parts, right? And so when I heard they're in this game, this show, I was like, nah. And they were different, which is like, but they were somehow worse. Nah. I made a cheeky note here, and that was that they were smart to not have on-foot gameplay in Twisted Metal, which is what they were trying to do with, I believe, the sequel to Black. In Harbor City, they want Sweet Tooth to be able to get out of his car and run around for power-ups, unlocks, and stuff like that. Terrible idea. They ended up cutting it. They did do they did put it in Twisted Metal Head on the PS2 version just to show what it would be like as you go through like the museum of previous Twisted Metals. The reason I bring up that is because in the TV show, I don't want foot combat. Right? I don't want people on foot having fist fights in casinos and whatnot. I just want car action. The show is about car action. In Twisted Metal, as we saw, the story was only like 15, maybe 20% of the game was the little stories at the end. The rest was car combat. Give me that. So as we're dealing with Sweet Tooth, which a lot of people pointed out is like some of the best stuff in the show, which I could probably agree with. Right? And I'll develop that more as we go along, of course. One thing I noticed, he needs more wit and less jokes. I don't even mean jokes like jokes. I mean jokes like he needs to be less pun level humor and more witty. Everyone's like, oh, Sweet Tooth was never serious. I'm not saying I need him to be serious. And there was tons of times where he was serious. Right? But like, he was way scarier when he was cracking jokes, but you could tell there was maliciousness there. In this one, he's just weird. He's just like, I wish I knew how to describe it. Hopefully someone would describe it. You ever see Twisted Metal's ending for Head On? Sweet Tooth's ending in Head On? He's joking. He's having a good time, but you can tell he's ready to pop off, right? And that is scarier and more intimidating to me. The guy who is cracking jokes and he's like, but you're like, holy shit, he's like right on the brink of breaking. Than some guy who's actively swinging a machete around, but he's like, oh. Yeah, he throws him on a craps table. Oh, did you craps your pants? That's not in the show, but I'm just saying it's that level of humor where I'm like, later on, we actually get a reference to Sweet Tooth's ending in Twisted Metal 1 with his good friend, the paper bag, which not only did I appreciate at the time, as the show went along, it turns out that was absolutely the best move to do. But we'll get there when we get there. Whoever wrote this whole scene with Sweet Tooth and then John and Quiet all sitting at the table during the show, they should have wrote the whole thing. Because they had multiple writers the show. Whoever did this did some of the best stuff. Because there's one joke where Sweet Tooth laments that, the 18 to 35 female demographic. That's always been a tough one. That's funny. That's funny as hell. And then,
Tonight you will be enjoying White Tiger prepared 3 ways. There's a whole pack of those milky white assholes breeding up on the 4th floor.
that's funny. That is proper hilarious. You see how that's a joke? It's not a pun, right? When he put down and said, "Oh, it's White Tiger steak," that was like, eh. But then when he added to it, that's pretty good. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a joke. Setup, payoff. More fantastic Sweet Tooth banter, which I'm spoiling anyway, so I'll just say it was when she's like, "Yeah, you should take your show on the road." That's right. I should go out there and kill as many people as I see.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant.
No, that's exactly what you meant.
Home run. Whoever did the writing for that scene, home run. Although finally, for episode 2, I do have to lament that 15 seconds of car combat in that episode. We do know what Twisted Metal's about, right? Let's get to it now. Anyway, with that ending, it drops to a 6.5 out of 10. I'm still there, but the lack of car combat and the really soft jokes, even though there's some good ones mixed in there, the soft jokes are annoying. Anyway, let's dive on over to episode 3. Now, we know that in my opinion, and the opinion of many, many others, but not everyone, Twisted Metal 3, game-wise, was the beginning of the Great Decline. So, this episode's cursed to probably not be that good. But let's see. Maybe that's just all in my head. We'll see. The actor they got to play the young version of Agent Stone, he was so good. He had the mannerisms of the older Agent Stone just down. He had it locked in. So 100% kudos to that guy. Like, he had it dialed. And we talked about going into episode 3. I don't know, maybe 6.5. I've got some goodwill, even though there's a lot of the Barbie girl scene completely pissed away all the goodwill I had for the show. It wasn't funny. It wasn't interesting. And it wasn't realistic to the situation. It was really, really, really god awful. Like, and I'm wondering too, because obviously, like, everyone has different tastes. So there are people out there who just tears in their eyes. Whoa, Barbie girl, it's annoying. He's writing papers. He's covered in blood because, I guess he's writing and his hand bled. It sucked. Fucking sucked. I don't get that type of humor. It's not for me. I'm not saying that people who liked it are evil or bad or something. I'm just saying, like, what the fuck? Went way too long. I don't know why you would think that scene. I don't know why you would drag it out for as long as it did. I don't know. But like I said, the reason I bring it up so much and I really bring it home is because I literally, all the goodwill I had disappeared. And it's episode 3, and I'm like, fuck. I got so many episodes after this. It better do something. So in the comments, Another thing a lot of people brought up was like, oh, Anthony Mackie's a great actor. What the fuck are you talking about? Once again, I was talking about the trailers, and he didn't act in the trailers. What did he do in the trailers besides dance? But anyway, regardless of all that, when he got a chance, a brief chance here in episode 3 to do non-jokes, to do some dramatic fucking acting, it was good. I liked it a lot. I would have absolutely liked more of that, which is hilarious to say now because later on they go back to trying to make him dramatic again, and it doesn't work there for some reason. I don't know what happened between filming this scene and filming those scenes. But that's then, this is now. Let's finish off this episode. There's only a couple more notes left. I kind of laughed, even though there's no reason for it. The fact that the dude was cranking the hentai, and it was like, you look at it, and it wasn't even like, they couldn't get a legit dojin from like, like it looked like an American hentai or something, I'm going to try and freeze the frame and see if I could pick up a title or anything from it. But I have a weird feeling it's a set prop, and it's something about it looked wrong. But that's probably all right. Can you imagine if they actually sourced some actual fucking... No way, dude. Also, yet another episode with zero seconds of car action. What the fuck? What the fuck? Just like how we said with Twisted Metal 3, the game was the beginning of the Great Decline, so the episode would probably suck. That ended up being true. Twisted Metal 4 is my least favorite game, so this episode, there's going to be no chance. Should have just turned it off. But here we go. A little bit of car action. Just a little bit. Finally, I was excited. I actually wrote that down. Car action, finally. And then it ended. Like what, 5 seconds? 10 seconds? No guns? Nothing? Twister operating the land train, if you will. It's a pretty fun idea. Just do less talking. Keep this going. This is a good thematic. Don't bog it down in story. Another note I have here, and you heard me mention it earlier, was that every single character we meet, and I know it's the post-apocalypse, I get it, but every single character we meet is aggravating. There's not a single likable person outside of Tommy, and Tommy was spotty. I didn't like his whole start off, but the rest of his scene was great. But like, that's fine thematically. Yeah, terrible. But I gotta like someone. Get me attached to someone. When everyone's a dick, it's like, ugh. I don't care if they die. I don't care if the preachers get them. I don't care. You can tell I was getting salty too, talking about not caring when I wrote, I wish the theater they were in was screening Batman. Which is, what do you do? What you can do? I don't want any romance in my Twisted Metal. In any Twisted Metal. I don't want it. Doesn't belong. So romance and unfun characters aside, we actually get one of the best scenes in the show in this episode. Now it's with our 4 minutes of Granny at the end as we find out she's passing away and she is ill and she's going out like a trooper, and just her speech, it's just lovely. Fantastic. That was some good choice. So I got to clap myself on the back here because I called in my last Twisted Metal video the lesbian Twister situation, and it was funny to see, although, a little ham-handed, oh, she's got hairy armpits because she, we get it. Finally, to end episode 4, I have 2 notes. 1, quiet sucks, ... and so does a lack of car combat. That said, Granny, land train truck convoy, I will bump it back up to a 6 out of 10. But seriously, no car combat. We've had a total of maybe 2.5 minutes of car combat so far, and we're fucking getting to episode 5. We're 4 episodes in. Oh, it was really good though. It's super faithful to the games. I don't remember a lot of bad romance in my games. I don't remember a lot of interpersonal drama in my games. Okay? I remember a lot of car combat. Just saying. Ooh, what do you want? A whole show about car combat? Yeah, essentially, I want freaking Duel. I want Duel and the remake of Death Race to have a baby. I want, and if you can't give me Duel, I say Duel because it's a whole movie about a car chase. Literally. Give me like Death Race and like Mad Max or something. You got to give me something. You can't give me nothing. You know? That's like taking a game like what's a more modern game that doesn't have a movie? Horizon Zero Dawn. It's like taking Horizon Zero Dawn and having like 30 seconds of robots in each episode. What? Come on now. Episode 5 begins, and we meet Jamie and Carl Roberts, and they suck, which is sad. I'm fine with Carl Roberts sucking, because, he kind of does. Jamie was supposed to be like one of the smartest competitors. It was her brother that brought her down, but no, she's just as dumb in this one. They did an incest joke with the Roberts, which is something I did too. What the fudge? It's like I wrote this shit, which is terrible. I wrote here, this is how desperate I've gotten for action. I said I would even just take a whole episode of Sweet Tooth at the DMV. Even if he is on foot. Just him going around doing his thing would be totally fine with me. And of course, we didn't get that. We got a little action, though, which was nice, but... I wrote car action in my Twisted Metal show. This is unprecedented. And then the car action ended about 20 seconds later. I was like, oh, okay, never mind. Episode 6 comes along. I write, sex in the ball pit. I guess that's all right, although the love story is still completely unnecessary. And then I realized about halfway through the episode, I had no notes. I literally, my brain had pretty much turned off. It's literally two people in a building talking. We don't even have car driving, let alone car action, let alone anything. We don't have any action. It's two people doing bad romance in one location. It's like the Star Wars sequels, End of episode 6, and we are still sitting at a total of less than 3 minutes of car combat across 6 episodes of a show based off of car combat. I can't wait to hear the 989 Studios Twisted Metal argument of, it's a good show, but maybe just not a good Twisted Metal show. Season 2 will be the actual tournament, and it'll be good, some people say. Fuck off is what I say. I give a show 2 episodes tops to get its hooks in me. Not a whole season, you sadists. Just because you like Twisted Metal as a franchise doesn't mean you have to consume everything Twisted Metal related. Oh, but if we don't support it, they won't make more. So if they make something I don't like, and I choose not to interact with it, it gives them less incentive to make what I don't like. Yeah, it sounds like the free market rules are working as they should. At the end of this episode, I'm spent, man. You talking about, what are you rated out of 10? We're at like 2 out of 10. This is abysmal. Oh, they make so many fun references to what? Who cares? Who cares? You can take a movie you don't like. Put a movie in your head you don't like. Right? And for the characters, change their names with characters from a game you really like. Right? So, what do we got here? Let's picture Mean Girls, right? But I've got the characters from Final Fantasy X. Oh, isn't it great? They reference it so much and the story's so well written. This is not a Final Fantasy movie, my guy. It's not, and it shouldn't be. It just isn't. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? So episode 7 comes along, and I have notes out the ass. I have more notes about episode 7 than I do the last 3 episodes. And that's because, and rightfully so, because a lot of people in the comments are saying, yo, episode 7's the best. And every true Twisted Metal fan will love it. So I'm like, all right, gatekeepers, let's give it a shot then. Let's do your best. And it starts off strong, I gotta admit. You got a reference to Charlie Kane and his taxi cab, which I'm like, whoa, that's a fantastic reference. Do more of that.
Your dad is so bad.
Well, he's not my real dad.
Yeah, you should thank your lucky stars for that. You'd still be living in a taxi cab if your unhinged father didn't go to jail.
That's good. Because, it's actually something about the game. It's not just, that Charlie Kane, the janitor. No, it's actually, it's just, anyway. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, oh, shit. Is this a reference to Billy Calypso from Small Brawl? And it probably was, but it was a dog. And I will fully say 110%. I am so glad they stabbed that dog to death. That's the show I want to watch instead. I want to watch that show. We get to hear the voice actor for Calypso's first time, and I'm so glad. And I know a lot of people are gonna, whoa, what? This makes no sense. You're contrarian. I'm so glad they went with the silly Calypso from like 1 and 2. They didn't try and make it, and I don't know, 3 and 4, I guess, but they didn't try and make it like the more serious one from like Black or Head On. I'm so glad they went goofy Calypso, and the voice actor did a solid job, and with what little he was given. So good. This Twisted Metal 90210, the love sitcom, it's killing me inside. This love triangle shit, it's brutal. Brutal. Also, fucking Bloody Mary in no wedding dress. Although it is fitting that she's part of the love triangle, the lover scorn thing, is still terrible. Fuck Bloody Mary. Fuck the pizza boy. Fuck the drag queen. And fuck everyone else I haven't recognized yet. I was hoping for Mr. Grimm to come in and just reap all their souls. Also, just shame on them because they used Pizza Boy by name, Bloody Mary by name, but Drag Queen, they're like, oh, and Petunia. Either include the character or don't. I get why you don't, because that's a touchy subject nowadays, but pick one. Angela Fortin showing up, I can appreciate. I'm down for that. She actually thematically fits this universe. Sweet Tooth mentions he killed his roommate for thinking that Chris Kirkpatrick was the best NSYNC member, and rightfully he deserved it, because everyone knows Joey Fatone is the best NSYNC member, fucking hands down. I don't know what this Chris Kirkpatrick bullshit is. And that kind of goes into something here that a lot of people talked about when talking about the show, is that Sweet Tooth in this episode he really is some of the best part of the show, as he describes the childhood. Everything in the asylum's good because he's still joking, he's still humorous. But remember earlier I said you gotta have the jokes, but you feel like you're on edge? It's perfect. Everything with Sweet Tooth in that asylum is perfect thematically. I honestly, full fucking points. And to further prove this point, one of the best jokes in the entire show happens with Sweet Tooth as he exits the asylum. You see, when he went in, right, he left his friend the paper bag in control, gave it a revolver and said, yo, you're in charge. When he comes out...
No! Harold, why did you kill everybody?
That's fantastic. That is really good. That's funny as hell. Kudos. That's the best joke in the entire show. You just saw it. You don't got to watch it no more. Just like with Billy the dog, I'm super happy to see Pizza Boy get painfully killed. But now where's Buster Cobb? I want Buster Cobb and his auger to get painfully killed next. All the characters I don't like. And then so in closing, that episode was said to be the best thing that ever was in the show. It'll win me over. Any of the toughest critics it'll win over. And while it was the best episode so far, it still wasn't good. Still wasn't good. Like maybe if that was the second episode in, I would be like, okay, that's fantastic. But for how far we've gone in just to get that, it's like, ugh. And I mean, it also doesn't help that, like, still, what car combat do we have? We got 3 episodes left. We're still under like 3 minutes of car combat. 7 episodes, right? We're talking like 3.5 hours for 3 minutes of car combat in a show about car combat. Well, actually, it's not. I'll say this right now. It's not a show about car combat. It's a show that stole the name of a game that's about car combat. This show's about bad romance in a post-apocalypse. It's like Mad Max and Melrose Place. I call it Sad Max. That's right. I call it that. There's no way I stole that. So here we are, episode 8, and it's interpersonal drama because this show does that so well. It's super clear to me as we work through this episode that in the post-apocalypse, I would have been a fucking holy man because I love their whole setup. I love everything about it. You know, the Jack and Coke, it's just cocaine and Jack, and is the goddesses with the whips, and it's just great. The bikes, clearly I would have been a holy man. Just saying. We meet our preacher character, and one of the first things he said is, "Let us recall our past." And my heart sank because I'm like, can you just stop talking? Can you just stop? How about this? How about you show me your past? This is the thing. Well, you got to have a story. You got to meet the characters. Fine. Show me it. I'm sick of everyone just talking. Shot, reverse shot. Oh, we're in an abandoned place. Shot, reverse shot. You know? Is it so hard to have a flashback? We get flashbacks later episodes, right, to John Doe's childhood. Fantastic way to tell a story, right? Why can't you do that now? I'm sick of people talking. And then the greatest reveal of all, the holy men are car fuckers.
What a hot piece of ass! I should lube up with oil and dick your muffler.
Dick her up! Dick her up! Dick her up! Dick her up!
Oh my god. Are you a bunch of car fuckers?
Yeah, we're car fuckers, so what?
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Why?
Oh, no reason. Just that you're car fuckers.
We're only guilty of a love for which there is no name.
Oh, there's a name actually. It's called car fucking.
That said, as the episode goes on, we see a big explosion and we're led to believe John's dead, but we know that's not true because we still have 2 more episodes left and a second season. So, you know, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Oh, but you don't know that in show. No, come on now. You just can't do that. It's just bad writing. Sometimes you got to write for the meta. I think it was Hitchcock. Hitchcock talked about how suspense is the audience knows there's a bomb under the table, but our characters don't, right? You have to write shows or games or whatever writing you're doing, books, anything, any writing. You have to write, yes, the situation for the characters, but you also have to give the audience some extra to work with. And our extra that we have to work with, we know John's going to be fine. So this drama, oh, he's dead. No, not really. Like I said, 2 episodes and a second season left. He'll be fine. And then, as mentioned earlier, I talked about how there was a flashback to John meeting his car for his first time, and it was really, really, not really well done, but compared to everything else we've seen in the show, it was fucking Citizen Kane. It was really touching. I really enjoyed it. The only problem is that I can't find parts for a Subaru nowadays, and this guy's just pulling them in the post-apocalypse. He's just pulling the parts. Okay, what lucky gold mine did he find? You know, a JDM junkyard in the middle of post-apocalyptic California. But anyway, even after that, heading into the last 2 episodes, I can't even bother to rate it. I don't have a rating for it. As if this wasn't hard enough, having sat through 5 hours to get to record this review, I finished the review and turns out the last 2 episodes audio was gone. So let's re-record them. Here we go. Maybe I'll be less salty now that I got it out the first time. Let's see. Episode 9. So episode 9 comes around, right? We're so close to the end of the show. At this point, we're just like, just get me there, right? I wrote more sweet tooth equals more better at this point. While I don't think it's a perfect sweet tooth representation, it's close enough where I'm totally fine with it. Just give me more sweet tooth. You know? Although I will say this, I think it's shocking that in episode 9, 1 episode left to go, they're already referencing the flaming head. I figured they would save that for the final episode, much like how they started the show with car action, which was smart. I figured they would end it with sweet tooth fire action, which would have been smart too, but oh well, interesting choice. This is interesting too here. So we see Quiet driving roadkill along, and she ends up crashing because of a dead deer on the road, and she says, "Oh, stupid Doe," as in John Doe. But it bugged me because the deer had antlers, and I'm like, what? That ain't right as far as I know. So I had to research it, And it says that while deer, female deer, do sometimes grow antlers when they have testosterone issues, for the most part, deers do not rock antlers, save for caribou. Caribou females do regularly grow antlers. So, I don't know. Someone go back, check out that show, see what type. I ain't going back. I deleted that show. I mean, I canceled my subscription. So here we are, episode 9, getting to the end here, and even the trucker convoy can't save this. You know, I like the trucker convoy. I actually like that idea. It ain't going to work, Chief. It's over. Do you notice how Twister is the one who pulls up driving the truck? And then they later ask, where'd Watts go? You know, where'd Twister go? And she's like now in the back of the truck. How the fuck did she get out of the truck, run all the way to the back trailer, open the trailer, get in the trailer, close the trailer, right? And no one noticed? Come on. At this point, you could promise me all the car combat and flaming head sweet tooth you want. I'm done. Like, there's nothing can save the show. Literally nothing. You can give me a half hour of just straight one-for-one Twisted Metal. It's not going to make it worth it, man. It doesn't work like that. That's how come I get so perturbed at people speaking about how, oh, the first season you got to watch to set the characters for the second season. No. No. No, 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 no. So I just really don't get that. I really don't. It's also funny too, talking about, oh, maybe the final episode will be great. I mean, we're still 9 episodes in and we're still at like 2 minutes of car combat. It don't matter. You could give me, mathematically speaking, you give me the last 28 minutes as just all car combat, it's still not going to average out to being anything. It's like, that's what I'm saying. We're done. We're done here. So here we are, final episode. And finally, some car action. This whole time I kept saying, oh, you're sick of hearing car. We finally got it. And it was great. I have no problems with it. It was, but it was cheesy. Oh, the special effects were, that's what I expected, man. I don't need, I'm not looking for like the most amazing show ever. I'm just looking for a show that is worthy of the name, that is comparable, you know? I did find it weird though. Stu gets mad at Sweet Tooth for killing innocent people, and chooses to go with Mike. But Mike killed innocent people when he shot the seagulls. So what are you doing, Stu? Stu's not very well thought out, but Mike and Stu never were. So be it. John and Quiet's relationship, speaking of uninteresting, is just so bad. How many times they're going to fight. Because, like, remember, this is what, 10 days? In 10 days, they fought and broke up and got back together this much. And they're not likable. They're still not likable. Shame. You talk about, like, good show writing. Sometimes the best writing is stuff that doesn't need to be said. And we get a case of that where we see John waking up, getting out of bed. Now that he's in San Francisco. And when he wakes up, we see he's wearing pajamas. And so that's like a subtle nod by the director to show that John Doe's not actually living a free life, because if you're not freeballing when you sleep, you might as well be in prison. What the heck? Another like kind of little touch is that we see them eating pizza with a knife and fork. And I'm like, wow, it really is the apocalypse. Or it really is San Francisco. Either way, just wouldn't want to be there. Quiet doing the Robin Hood type thing, steal from the rich, give to the poor. I love it. I think that's actually really good. She could have just done more of that. Would have been interesting, actually. It's also interesting. You talk about season 2. We know John Doe is going to be driving in the tournament, right? I ain't watching it. I'm just speculating now. But we know he's going to be driving the tournament. What will he be driving? I assume Quiet will be in the tournament as well as Roadkill. The heck is John going to be now? Huh? For the other characters we get to see for the season 2 tournament, we got to see like Mr. Grimm, Bloody Mary somehow alive. Maybe she's a ghost, and hence she drives Spectre. Oh, who knows? We saw who else we saw. We saw a couple other ones there, like the Preacher, obviously, but one we saw was Axel, and they had to do Axel, but I didn't know how they were going to do Axel. That is interesting. Still not going to make me watch the show, but I'm sure it'll be in the trailer for season 2, because I always said Axel's like the unofficial mascot. Yeah, okay, Sweet Tooth is on everything, But Axel, ever since he showed up in number 2, he's like the guy, you know? In summary of the final episode, 5 hours of my life, and we got what, 7 minutes of car combat. You know, like I really, trust me, I do. You know, everyone always says, "Oh, please add comments," because you know it's engagement. I really do want to see comments. Like, what did you like? And I'm not even being sarcastic. Like, what the fuck did you like? Fuck you, motherfucker! You just don't like. No, 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 no. We know Twisted Metal is like, you know what, 80% car combat, and then at the end when you finally beat all levels you get a little 3-minute story. That's Twisted Metal, right? It's more about the car combat. So you get a Twisted Metal TV show and you go, okay, they gotta have more story. They did almost a complete flip. There's no car action. There's cars are not even needed per se. They could have easily done this on foot. It was just delivering stuff. You know, so what about this show did you actually like? Was it the love romance triangle thing, the constant breaking up, breaking, like what was it that got you? I don't get it. Because I mean, I even thought of it like this. As a Twisted Metal, it's terrible. But what if you took the Twisted Metal name away? Well, then I'm like, okay, the lack of car combat becomes way more acceptable at that point. But I still don't like it. Even the characters, the interpersonal drama, it still wasn't good to me. So I don't get it, you know? It is what it is. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. And in summary, now, spoilers free now. This is the part where we come back with the no spoiler portion. Complete lack of car combat was terrible. Some jokes land, yes, and some jokes were really good, actually. Most of them were like pun level, quippy humor, and to me, that's never funny. I don't like quips, you know? Terrible. The dramatic scenes outside of a couple shine through performances, almost all dramatic scenes are terrible, shot, reverse shot, you know, like there's whole episodes where we're not seeing any cars. We're just seeing two people talking. Whoa, terrible. And finally, not a singable, likable character. Not in my opinion. I mean, yeah, we met like one or two who were like, okay. But for the most part, no. Man, everyone was just nasty. It's you know, oh, it's the apocalypse. Everyone, yeah, I get it, I get it. We all get it. Everything's good. It's the greatest show ever. Argue away. Why don't you? But anyway, that is what it is. I'm happy, I guess, that people still are interested in Twisted Metal. Everyone's talking about, oh, well, hopefully they make a new game. They're already working on it. So shut up. It's being directed by a British company that all they've ever done is bad games and VR games. So that's the perfect company to hand it to. But I will say this, their director is the guy, I don't know if he did them all or if he did a couple, but he's the ex-Motorstorm director. And I love Motorstorm. Oh, Motorstorm's good. So, but still, I don't know. Anyway, so if you want to like, I want to like the show because I got to support it, so they make a new game. They're making a new game. Don't worry about it. And then as far as, I mean, it's almost a shame it's not Jaffe and Campbell again. You know, Sony bought them out for the rights, so that's always a good sign. And then finally, too, this second season stuff, man. You know, if you enjoy it, fantastic. You know, but for the most part, if you like I said, I saw a lot of arguments of people saying I gotta support it so they make more with the. If they're not gonna make good stuff with the series, what's the point of supporting it? You know, the fact is you can get all the Twisted Metals right now out there, legally and illegally, and they're just as fun as they were day one. Maybe they handle a little less as fun, you know? But goddamn, in fact, some of them are moddable now. You know, you can mod old Twisted Metals now. That's ridiculous. You should see some of them. I'll put some up on the screen right here, right now. Whoa! Hey! What the fuck? Whoa! Notice how they're all Twisted Metal 2 because that's the one I like. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the review. I was honest with it. It wasn't all bad. Like I'm not here to. I'm not trying to make you hate the show, but I also don't need to be forced to like the show. I've always maintained this. I mean, you look at the name of my channel, Trash and Treasure. There's a lot of bad games where I can admit they're bad games and I love them, right? And vice versa. There's a lot of good games that are just, they don't deserve to be, right? So feel free to like or dislike what you want, but this show, what you guys are talking about, to me it makes no sense. Makes no sense why people feel the way they do, why they're talking the way they are. I don't get it. But hopefully maybe someone in the comments can explain something to me. I just wasted 5 hours plus with the audio mix up, now 6 hours here of my life. But yeah, so till then, next time we're going to have a regular episode where it's going to be well written, well thought out. I won't be as starchy, maybe. I can't guarantee nothing. But until then, hope to see you then. Have a good one. Later now. Bye-bye.